Ms. Moore, recognize Mr. Smith of Nebraska.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Certainly thank you to our panel. These issues, I'm glad we can engage on this and certainly hear diverse perspectives and perspectives that I hope can lead to better outcomes. I worry when arbitrary designations are leveled across the country, viewing one state at a time monolithically. I don't like it when that happens even to Nebraska, and we're, 3 House seats. That's not a lot. Not to mention other states too that have, far more, I should say, just more diverse needs across their state, across the demographics. And so I just am very concerned that the federal government, especially without a vote of Congress, because I happen to think that you take this subcommittee right here, just us, I think we could come up with both sides more appropriate designations than what this proposal seems to outline. And it obviously gets folks in a defensive posture, especially when there's evidence that it's not a complete report, doesn't show a complete picture of reality. And so I would hope that we could exercise the legislative prerogative that we should have on this and work together for a solution. But Dr. Corinth, I'd like to discuss further some of the work you've done projecting what the proposed changes would be for various states. In addition to the chart that Chairman LaHood discussed earlier showing how replacing the official poverty measure with the supplemental poverty measure, SPM, would direct funding away from poor states and channel those dollars to rich states. You also created this map here behind me now. This one shows how the poverty line would change for a family of 4 if SPM were elevated. How is it that a family in California making $47,000 across the state, or a family in Colorado making $40,000 across the state, doesn't matter where they might live within the state, would be considered in poverty, while the same family just across the border from Colorado, say in my home state here, and this corner of Colorado and this end of Nebraska, pretty similar in terms of cost of living. And but how would you explain this and perhaps what you would propose instead?
Sure. So thank you, Mr. Smith, for the question. I don't think it makes sense to say that someone who has $47,000 of income in California is somehow worse off than someone who has $47,000 in one of those other lower income states. So I think that this solution is to have a constant poverty line across states. And that claim is based on research by Dr. Meyer, which actually finds that people who are near the poverty line in these different states, those who are in the lower income states, places like Mississippi and West Virginia, are actually worse off in terms of their food insecurity, the quality of their housing, and their health and even mortality outcomes than those near the poverty line in places like California.
Hello, friends. High inflation has affected millions of households nationwide, especially families with children and seniors. The rising cost of living in multiple states is leaving many Americans on the brink of poverty. But some state lawmakers are choosing to pass legislation that will provide new tax credits and relief payments directly to struggling households. My dear friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video regarding more details on this. Also, this Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, all you need to do is click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, dearest friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. U.S. inflation has had a snowballing effect on family budgets. The typical American household spent $709 more this past July than they did 2 years ago to buy the same goods and services. That figure underscores the total impact that high inflation has had on consumer finances, even as price growth has cooled considerably in recent months. Most of that increase in spending is driven by housing costs, which have increased dramatically. Experts noted that families are also spending more at the grocery store on buying, maintaining, and insuring vehicles, and on recreational services like cable. Of course, paychecks have also grown over the past 2 years, but not by as much as the cost of living. Since a more valuable child tax credit included in the American Rescue Plan expired in 2022, various states have moved to increase the value of their state-level credit to support families with children. One of these states is Minnesota, where a new child tax credit worth up to $1,750 has been approved for the 2024 fiscal year. When families file their income tax return in 2024, reflecting their income and earnings from 2023, the enhanced credit for Minnesota children and working families can be claimed. As mentioned, the credit is worth $1,750 per qualifying child, and the state does not limit the number of dependents that can be claimed. However, the credit is aimed at helping the state's most economically vulnerable households, with the state's tax agency saying that it will phase out if your income is over $29,500. Low-income households eligible to receive the credit will be able to do so during the tax filing season, which will begin in early 2024. Those who did not receive the credit but were eligible in 2023, based on their income in 2022, can still take action to receive the funds. Based on the information provided, the Minnesota Department of Revenue will determine eligibility, and once, if eligible, how much the taxpayer will receive. During the crisis, student loan borrowers received a break from making their monthly payments. This break lasted for more than 3 years before payments started again this month. Initially, there were concerns that resuming these loan payments would harm the U.S. economy. People worried that borrowers who had an average monthly payment of $337 would cut their spending in other areas to cover their loans. However, a recent analysis by J.P. Morgan suggests that bringing back student loan payments is not causing significant harm to the economy. This is reassuring for those concerned about a potential economic downturn. Throughout 2022, economists were warning about a possible recession, primarily due to high inflation and frequent interest rate increases by the Federal Reserve, rather than a return of student loan payments. But once it became clear that President Biden would not eliminate student debt, some concerns arose about how resumed payments might impact the economy. The idea was that if consumers had to spend thousands of dollars on loan payments, they would have less money for other expenses. But so far, consumer spending does not appear to be declining. However, it may be too early to conclude that a return of student loan payments will not negatively affect the economy. We're only in the first month of these payments coming back, and borrowers had plenty of warning that payments were due in October. Many may have saved money specifically to handle these payments. The fact that student loan payments are not hurting the economy so far is a positive sign, but it's uncertain whether this trend will continue. In the months ahead, the pressure of making these payments could lead consumers to make significant changes in their spending. Lower interest rates might help alleviate the impact of ongoing loan payments. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts on the student loan forgiveness? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Well, my magnificent and most marvelous friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. Dearest friends, thank you very much for being part of this community. To say thank you and to show my appreciation, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, please click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you watch and then comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Thank you, and have a wonderful and very blessed week.